So I first caught wind of this video on Twitter kind of recently. It's from Tommyinit. I'm sure you guys know who he is. Massively successful creator. The video is titled "Creativity is Dead." I don't know the specifics of what he says yet, but as a fellow content creator, I think I'm going to find this conversation interesting. So let's see what he has to say.
Hello! Hey, welcome back to the Tom Serious channel. Oh, one video a week, by the way. My God, you're lucky. Sorry if I sound a little bit tired, too. I'm still recovering from the other night. You see, most 18-year-olds are out partying. I spent the night being chased around a military bunker in the pitch black by zombies. That's right, these group channel videos are getting weird. But hey, I'm in the office, the sun is out, and you know what? I'm comfy. Now today, this is something I feel very strongly about, and today I'm talking about it. Is creativity dying on YouTube? Simply put, is YouTube just crap now? This seems to have come up a lot over the past year, especially in the past few months, but it's going by its other name, the Beastification of YouTube. What it basically means is the people who used to be on the top of YouTube were the PewDiePies, the Markipliers, the Dan is not on fires. That rhymed. And now, the people who are on top aren't the people who are rewarded by quality and personality. Dude, you don't even have to be good. You just have to appeal to everybody. They do this by all following the same formula, using that identical, intense music, the hook in the beginning of the video, and spending loads of money. Now, MrBeast pioneered this formula, which, you know, it's fine. It works. But the weird thing is everyone else has followed it. Every type of genre. People have applied this new rule set in order to be more successful. And that's whatever if you're a creator. But for viewers, at least for me, there's this lack of soul, of contagiousness from the videos. They don't feel like they were made with love, just made to keep up. And it sucks. So the question stands now as I see YouTubers get so much more demotivated to keep up, as I see viewers getting older and not giving a shit anymore about YouTube. Can you still be successful while being creative on YouTube? Like right now, today. And my answer, I think you can now more than ever. Wow. Optimism. Rare optimism on the internet. But seriously, all right, let's take a step back for a second. One of the things I'm really interested in, aside from YouTube, is movies. I love films, I love the movie industry. It's basically just YouTube, but on $1 billion budget. Over the past 10 years, there's been a huge decline in quality in what's popping off in Hollywood. It all used to be based on hunches. Movie gurus reading scripts and going, yeah, I think this might be good. I think people might like this weird shark film. And that's how you end up with Jaws. Seriously, it was all just people reading it and going, this looks poggers. And then boom, it's great. You know, it's not based on data. That's a real quote too. Based on people's poggers. What's happened lately though is the movie gurus realize something. That people hate risk. Because of that, when you see the word Marvel or Harry Potter or fucking Fast and Furious at the beginning of a title, you're more likely to go and watch it. You know it will be good. It's a sequel to a thing you already like. The rise of this has really killed cinema. People at Sony and Universal don't want to fund independent movies. They want to fund the things they know will make them back money. This sucks. This has sucked. I went to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and it sucked. I promise, by the way, this is all about to tie back into YouTube. Now, let me tell you about counterculture. In every industry, people want things that are good. It's simple. And whenever things slowly become bad, there's always a ping pong back to good shit, even if it takes a while. And this was evident last year in the film industry, with Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know if you saw it. I heard that's an amazing movie. I want to watch it. Awesome. It was this crazy, weird indie film, as contrary to the current shithole of Hollywood as it can be. And guess what? Dude, it did amazing. So many people went to see it, so many people loved it, and the Hollywood dickheads made so much money. Now, why have I just done a fucking huge rant about Hollywood? It's because it's the same as YouTube, guys. You never have to worry about anything with YouTube because it's all already
so invested in the gameplay.
Hollywood. They're so similar. Seriously, though, there's been this huge rise in things that are about money. People will click. Things that are fast, people won't click off. That now YouTube is kind of lame. And because of that, people want to see more good shit again. If MrBeast is Marvel, then the viewers are looking for an Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, no, I don't think creativity is dead at all. And I don't even think YouTube's shit. And I think right now, making what you want to make will be more rewarding than ever, even if it doesn't get 100 million views. One last note, something Casey Neistat taught me. Not all views are equal either. Hear me out. You can get 100 million views on a video, but yeah, dude, if they're just 6-year-olds or people that this video means nothing to, then who cares? If you ask me, it's way better to have less viewers that love what you do than loads that just think it's okay. So don't compare yourself, ever. Work out who you want your audience to be. Fucking win them over. Dude, I just nerded out so hard. I hope you like it. I've been reading this book about cinema, and it's so interesting. It's like a cheat code to YouTube. Anyway, thank you boys for watching, and I'll see you next week if all these group channel videos haven't killed me. Subscribe. Bye.
What an awesome video, man. As a content creator, I don't know if I've ever heard anything speak more true to my experience as a content creator. I've struggled over the last 2 years to try to figure out what the hell happened to me and like in my relevancy, you know, because there's no doubt that I've quote unquote fallen off in the last 2 years. And I think I always kind of attributed it to I didn't keep up with kind of how YouTube progressed. I just wasn't able to be consistent. I wasn't as consistent as I should have been. And so kind of it was my own fault. And that's true. But I've told this story a million times. I'll keep it short. I'll tell it again. The reason I kind of stopped making content consistently on YouTube, I don't want this to come off as a brag. I'm just going to kind of tell you guys like kind of where I got to. I got to a point making content where it felt so easy to get the views that I was getting and to get the success that I was having that I kind of felt like, I feel like I owe my audience more than this. I feel like I need to do better for my audience and myself. And then so what happened was I got caught in this trap of needing to find lightning in a bottle for every piece of content. And it basically, I let perfection be the enemy of good enough. That's the phrase I was looking for. And I kept thinking to myself, like, whatever I upload needs to be amazing, unique. Nobody else needs to be even capable of doing this because I need to do that. This is just dumb. Or else, like, what am I doing this for, right? Because like money wasn't a motivation for me. It was just like, I need to give something that's worthwhile, right? Like if I want, because again, this all ties back to why I started doing YouTube in the first place, which is like, I was in my high school days, like longing for respect. And I think to an extent, that's kind of what I'm still doing when it comes to content. I want people to respect me so badly. If I'm just being honest with you guys about kind of why I do YouTube. I want to be heard and I want to be cared about and I want people to respect me. So, with keeping that in mind, that's kind of where I got all caught up in, like, I need to do something better. And then I got caught in that cycle and I was never able to come up with anything that I thought was going to be good enough. And then I just never uploaded. And then I got lazy to mix some laziness in there too and mix in some complacency and the fact that I was already such an established creator that the views that I was generating were able to keep up with me, like being able to pay rent, like more than fine. And then I just kind of fell off, you know? And I want to get back to a point now where I'm able to, you know, be more successful on YouTube. But the Mr. Beastification on YouTube, I've talked about it before. It is a great thing and it's provided a lot of opportunity for a lot of people and it's legitimized YouTube and it's legitimized content creation. And overall, I think it's a net positive and it was going to happen. I don't think it was a bad thing, but I think kind of as Tommy alluded, YouTube, just kind of like all trends in all art, kind of goes through cycles and, you know, valleys of like, hey, this is what's trending now. And then in 2 years, it's not going to be trending anymore. And hey, now it's something new is trendy again. And here's something else new that's not trending anymore. I think we'll always go through that cycles. Or, you know, if you don't like the peaks and valleys analogy, it's like a pendulum swing. We'll swing really far in one direction and then swing really far in the other direction. I disagree with him though, that, you know, the content now is shit. And I know he kind of backpedaled on that a little bit. I don't think the content now is bad. And I don't even think that for most people, YouTube feels bad. I think a lot of people love the way YouTube feels right now. And I think that's kind of a mix of YouTube, the algorithm getting really good at delivering you content. It's so refined to the point where like you're going to get delivered content that you enjoy. You just got to use it. If you use the platform, even a moderate amount, YouTube will get really good at putting content on your home feed that you actually want to watch. And you don't even have to think about it. And so if you don't like the Mr. Beastification of YouTube, if you don't like that content won't ever get fed to you. That's not even the content that I watch on YouTube. If I go to my YouTube home feed right now, I'm literally just going to scroll through and tell you guys exactly, honestly, what's on my YouTube home feed. An XQC clip, a Marquez Brownlee video, a clip from Joe Rogan podcast. I don't even know what this channel is. Alex Michelson looks like some sort of political, oh wow, interviewing Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter versus Hassan Piker on the issue with Alex Michelson. Interesting. A Dr. Disrespect clip, a clip from Destiny debating somebody on something, how to use ChatGPT for YouTube scripts, a video from The Problem with Jon Stewart. That's what my YouTube home feed is like. Notice how there's no gaming content. I don't consume gaming content. YouTube will feed you what you want to see. So to say that YouTube content's shit, I think is kind of subjective and it can kind of, you'll kind of notice what shit maybe in your niche if you create content more than anything else or if you consume content in that niche. But I agree with Tommy 100% that I think as we continue through this Mr. Beastification cycle of YouTube that I feel sucks a lot of the soul out of content, people are going to feel more of a pull pull for content, kind of like what like Jev does, or kind of like what Moist Critical does with, you know, Penguins, right? Where you get this content where it's just the opposite of the highly edited, only caring about viewer retention, super high clickbait thumbnail type of content. And you just go for something like this, where it's like, I mean, no offense to Charlie, but some borderline homeless looking dude that's like framed horribly in the thumbnail, right? Like if we're gonna go super meta, his eyes should be like in the upper third area, like on this line right up here, and he should be centered. And it's just titled "Let's Talk About Chases," and it has 650,000 views in 5 hours, right? And granted, he's not the perfect example because he's one of these creators that's like always been able to be successful in an environment like this, because people have so much trust and respect for him as a creator, and he does genuinely make great videos. He's really funny. But again, I feel like there's going to be more of a pull for content like that because people are getting kind of exhausted with the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. Me personally, whenever I watch Mr. Beast videos, don't get me wrong, they're entertaining and I do enjoy them. I think the reason I don't go out of my way to watch them on my own personal time is because as somebody who's like in the weeds of what it means to be a YouTube content creator, I can't watch Mr. Beast content without feeling this overwhelming feeling of like I'm just being exploited. And not in a bad way, because I genuinely feel like Mr. Beast's goal is to make the best content he possibly can. But I click on a Mr. Beast video and I'm just like, okay, this whole video was formulated not necessarily because Mr. Beast has this awesome story or idea or experience that he wants to share. It's edited and formatted in a way that's going to get the most views because he wants to squeeze every ounce of your attention in this video to get you to watch, which again, you get rewarded heavily because it is a genuinely great piece of content, right? Like I think he does care about making the best piece of content, but it's not because he innately cares about the content itself. That might be a bit of a hot take. And I don't want to claim that Mr. Beast, you know, I don't want to, please, Mr. Beast, please spare me. Please don't ban me off YouTube. That's kind of my hot take. I feel like YouTube in a way lacks a soul, and I feel like kind of like a pendulum swing. We're going to swing really far in this one direction where a lot of people are going to copy Mr. Beast and a lot of people are going to kind of impersonate the style of content that he does, where it feels like you can watch the creators that do these types of videos where everything, you know, is cut really quickly. Today we're going to do you know, and it feels like there's no like I'm never going to remember that person because that content is meaningless to me because everybody's kind of doing the same thing. But I feel like the people that kind of let their personality shine and kind of let people, you get that pull of like, damn, I really want to watch this person because I care what they have to say, or I like the vibe of their video. You know, it feels unique and special and something that I really can't get anywhere else. That's the content that people are going to start to gravitate more towards. But again, at the same time too, you can also make the argument that a lot of content that Mr. Beast makes is, no, I'll make this more generalized argument. I think a lot of times, and this kind of connects to the clickbait point that we made earlier that I'll just quickly reiterate of like, I don't think clickbait is bad. I think people kind of misuse the word clickbait. I think clickbait's great. Everybody has to, you know, any sort of online entertainment, news, YouTube, you've got to clickbait your content. I think the problem is when your clickbait is misleading. You get somebody to click on a piece of content and then they get delivered a video that isn't what they thought it was going to be, right? And the example that I used is like, you have a thumbnail with a guy jumping out of a plane and it looks like he's 30,000 feet in the air, but then you watch the video and after 9 minutes of them bullshitting you through a sponsor ad and just delaying it, at the very end of the video, you come to find out that he just jumped out of a plane that was on a movie set and it was all fake and green screen and it was just like 100 feet off the ground and it really wasn't that exciting. And then you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like that wasn't what I thought it was going to be, right? You feel like you've been gypped, played, manipulated. That I think is a bad form of clickbait. But I think overall clickbait is important. But I think too, when you make content like that and you make content that's kind of disingenuous and clickbaits people, I think there are certain demographics that just don't give a shit. And I think kids is a great example. And I think that's why you see gaming content just so crazy over the top and can be like really stretched to be super misleading and super clickbaity. And when I say clickbaity, I mean misleading. Is like you'll get a lot of gaming content where you got these gaming creators that make great content because it entertains the kids and the kids genuinely do love that kind of content. But the problem is a kid will click on a video and then they'll forget in 10 seconds why they clicked on the video. They're just like, oh, Fortnite, this is fun, right? And then they don't really feel like they were gypped because they're not invested. They don't care. They just kind of mindlessly watch content. So there is also that aspect of it too. So yeah, and I think in that sense, there's not necessarily anything inherently wrong with entertaining that demographic. But I do think an older demographic, and maybe I only have this perspective because I'm growing up in it, dude. Maybe I think this is all some like new age media thing when it really isn't. And this is just how art swings. I only have this perspective now because I'm just started to kind of like over the last couple of years grow out of that kind of content. I don't know, man. Maybe I think this is something really deep and new and different when it really isn't, because kind of like what we talked about earlier, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. So I don't know. that's kind of my take on the new wave of content and where I think content's heading. I think it'll kind of overall stay the same, but I think people's appetites, the appetites of specific demographics will change over time. And they won't always be related. And I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I think that's all my thoughts. If you guys are watching this on Henis Highlights, let me know what you think in those comments down below.